friends, happy Tuesday, January 19th. This is Charlene Harreveld from stampinwithcharlene.com. For tonight, I'm going to call this Tool Technique Tuesday, and I am going to show you a couple of projects using the brand new blending brushes from the new mini catalog. These are great to use. They look like sponges, but they're actually just, I'll take a guess and say thousands and thousands of fine little bristles, like a paintbrush. And they're kind of used like our sponges, but as I go through and show you the projects, I will highlight the different features and benefits of them. You get 3 in a package, and they're available in the mini catalog. And just one last thing, remember that from now until the end of February, for every $50 order you place before tax and shipping, you can choose a free item from the Celebration catalog, and I will be using some of those items in tonight's projects. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is actually show you the blending brushes. They come in this plastic bag, which makes this really fun, like crunchy noise, but it has a resealable closure at the top, so you can use the bag as storage. You get 3 in a package, and let's just take a closer look at them. They have a pretty substantial, like they're kind of heavy, so they have a pretty substantial handle, and when you use them, you want to put your finger on top and apply it to your ink pad, pick up the ink. You'll see when I go and make the project how to do that, but I just want to show you them first. So it's pretty substantial, and then yes, you're going to see that it's stained, but that is okay. But if you can see there, it's just it's not a sponge, even though it looks like a sponge. It's so soft, and it's just thousands of little, like little fine hairs, like that would be on a makeup brush or something. And now, even though it does have staining on it, because I use that, you'll see that none of the color comes off, because after I used it, I went ahead and I wiped all the ink off of it, and that's how you clean it. I do not recommend putting it in underwater and cleaning it that way. Just embrace the fact that it's going to be stained. This is a green one. You'll see that yes, some green is still coming off, but that's just probably because I just wanted to get ahead and make the video, and I didn't take the time to clean it thoroughly. And then this one is my purples. And same, there's a little bit coming off, but it's pretty much clean. It doesn't come off as nearly as dark as what the stain indicates. Okay, so now I want to show you the items that I'm going to use. Oh, let me show you the project first. How about that? These are the cards that I made for tonight's project. So look at how gorgeous that is. And I made these all with the blending brush. What I used were the stamp sets and designer series paper that are available in the Celebration brochure. So the first stamp set I used is Corner Bouquet. I used this stamp here. And for the sentiments, I used Heal Your Heart. Made a bunch of sympathy cards, unfortunately, but that's what you have to do. I like to have them always on hand so that they're there and ready to go when I need them. And then this is the designer series paper, which is called Oh So Ombre. If you could just see how luscious and luxurious and rich these colors are. There's Blackberry Bliss. So one side has like these little bubble polka dots, and then the other side is just ombre. Just the different shades of Blackberry Bliss. This is Granny Apple Green, same pattern. Rococo Rose. And then this is Bermuda Bay. So these ombre pieces were the inspiration for the card design. So you can see here that I started with the ink at the bottom. I used the blending brush, and then I just worked my way up this way. And I did it here. This is the Rococo Rose. This is the Granny Apple Green, the Blackberry Bliss, and then this is the Bermuda Bay. So you're also gonna probably see this here and wonder, how did she do that? Well, before I show you the blending brushes, we are going to actually do a technique too. This is called emboss-resist. So the first thing we're gonna do with our card is the emboss-resist technique. So let me show you how to do that. It's been a really long time since I've done an actual technique tutorial. So for the emboss-resist, you're gonna need a Versamark pad, a coffee filter. This is my clear embossing powder. I'm gonna need my stamp. So I'm using this one. And then you're gonna need your cardstock and your heat embossing tool. For the Versamark pad, this is something every paper crafter needs. It's going to, it's a clear ink, but it's sticky. So it's perfect for the embossing powder because it sticks right to the image. So you want to apply that, and then you need to sort of work quickly here because you don't want it to dry and then not have the embossing powder stick to the image. So I am going to, I stamp the image, and I know you can't see it. That's the point of Versamark. If this were a dark piece of cardstock and I used the Versamark, it would leave a shadow of the image on the cardstock. That's one of the purposes of Versamark. And then the other one is, because it's sticky, it holds the embossing powder onto it, so then you can go ahead and emboss your image. So I'm using a coffee filter to collect all of the extra embossing powder, and then that way I can just squeeze it together and pour it back into the little container. And now I know this is on white paper and it's gonna be hard to see, but maybe if I hold it like that, you can see the outline of the image there. So that is the embossing powder, and I'm gonna take my heat tool, and excuse the noise, but try to watch the image if you can see it, and you'll see that once the embossing powder gets hot, it will start to change color, and it's gonna become clear and shiny, and it'll be raised a little bit, like in a three-dimensional situation. So you can see on the paper there where the image is light, and then where it's kind of that darker, the darker color there. So you can, if you look closely, you can see it changing. If I hold it in the light, okay, so it's all embossed now with the heat tool. And now we can move on to using the blending brushes, and you'll see the image appear once I put the ink on it. For the example tonight, I'm gonna use this Bermuda Bay sample. So I'm gonna take my blending brush and open up my ink pad. This is my Bermuda Bay ink. And what I'm gonna do is, let's set this aside. I'll leave it right there just outside of the frame so you can see it. I'm gonna put my finger on the top and then just kind of rub it around and press it to pick up the ink onto the brush. Just like that. Now, the more ink you use, the darker the color it's gonna be. So I wanna hold my piece of paper to the side because I want the stroke to go sideways. So actually I'm gonna hold it this way because I want it to go on a diagonal. Now the key is you don't wanna start using the blending brush right on the paper because you're gonna be left with, if I can show you here my little, oops, see that big glob right there? That's why that happened, because I took this and I started directly on the paper. What you want to do is start the rubbing off of the paper. So you want to make sure that you use grid paper and just go back and forth, and you'll see the emboss-resist technique, the result of that, because the ink is sticking to the paper and not to the image where I embossed it. But I'm just gonna go back and forth, and you can put as much or as little as you want to. So I want the entire image that I stamped to be the Bermuda Bay color. So I'm just gonna add more ink and just go back and forth. And I kind of want it to be a little bit darker on the bottom and then get lighter as I go up. And it's just, it's so soft and smooth and fun, if you can tell. This is like a really fun tool. And I'm glad that Stampin' Up! Has added it to their arsenal of paper crafting tools. So that's all of the Bermuda Bay that I'm gonna use. So now just to clean it, I'm just gonna rub it off here on my paper until it rubs and there's just a hint left of the ink. And then I'll set that aside, and I'm gonna come in with my Daffodil Delight ink, and that's how I'm gonna top off. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pick up ink. You'll notice that this is the old style ink pad I have. I haven't replaced all of them with the new ink pad. I'm actually gonna do that slowly during celebration so that I can take advantage of getting the free products for every $50 that I spend. Now see, I just made the oops that I told you not to do. I started on the paper, so there's like a glob right there, but you can try to smooth it out. Nobody's gonna know. It's just one of those things that you know as a paper crafter, you'll know it. And then I just wanna blend it in a little bit more so the two colors fade into one another. And that's all there is to using the blending brushes. I'm gonna clean that one off. My friends, that is all there is to it. And then you just complete your card. I'm gonna finish the card now with a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock, just our standard cardstock cut in half, folded in half. And I'm gonna layer this beautiful piece of Oh So Ombre Designer Series paper on there. This is 4 by 5 1/4. So this is gonna be my first layer. And then this beautiful piece that we just made, this is 3 3/4 by 5. This is gonna be the top layer. I'm just using my multi-purpose adhesive. This is such a quick and easy card. Even though you're using two techniques, the emboss-resist and the blending brushes, it is such an easy card to make. And then I'm just gonna top it off with the sentiment, "We're in this together," which is in the stamp set that I just showed you. And I'm just gonna put this right here in the top right corner. And then I'm gonna take some pearls, and you'll see here on my sample that I just added 3 of the larger pearls to the side. And let's look at the samples again. So this is We're in This Together. And I tried to actually make the colors kind of fit the mood of the card. So sorry for your loss. So for this one, I used the darker Blackberry Bliss, and I did the same thing, put the sentiment at the top and the 3 pearls down the side. Thank You, it's a little cheerier. So for this one, I used the Granny Apple Green, and all of them have Daffodil Delight ink on the top right corner. Put the sentiment up here with the pearls, and then finally the Rococo Rose, Wishing I Could Heal Your Heart. So these are all great items from Celebration. The Oh So Ombre Designer Series paper, which you can see I've given a lot of love to. And then the Heal Your Heart, which the sentiments are, "We're in this together. I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. Sorry for your loss. I don't know what I would do without you. Wishing I could heal your heart, and thank you." And then finally, the Corner Bouquet stamp set, which has these two, the larger stamp for a corner or this smaller one, and then some leaves and a little flower. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's project. Okay, I know you want to order them, right? I don't blame you. Now, what some people have done is they've ordered a couple of sets, and then they've labeled each brush per color family. So they'll have one that they label red, blue, green, yellow, and so on. So be stained just in that one color family. It cleans off like I showed you. However, the stain will remain and then it won't get really dirty and yucky looking. So you might want to think about doing that too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope I've inspired you with a new tool technique, and I will see you guys next week.